go rolled, and it completely displaces their team and puts them at like this disadvantage. I think VP actually made quite a lot of like smaller errors, but it's the fact that like they are cushioned by the fact that their Bristle has pretty much a free game for his farm, so he can always just stand in front, and that is the reason for this Bristle pick. It's just to put a delay, put a timer on HellRaisers. Say if you don't push enough, then eventually you have to eat through this Bristle back, and it's rough. But yeah, I think this game draft really wasn't too much of a factor. It was just smaller things in the game that really
also one point that we didn't touch on before the draft really starts, because these are only the bans, like that VP played their laning phase pretty well, and when you have a slight advantage and your opponent has a mid-game lineup, it kind of slows them down. So let's say that tower defense, if they had a little bit of a better laning stage, you actually do defend the tower. Those few fights in the mid, you wipe them 2 times instead of once, and maybe that actually gives you the strength to win the game. So that point in the game where it's the laning stage, VP does well, it's actually pretty big because you kind of delay the enemy timings.
Well, speaking of pretty big things, we've kicked off this draft, and the DP, once again not banned, will be picked up instantly this time.
I think the adaptation for HellRaisers is their ability to really convert on an objective during or post-fight. Like with the Lycan, you really need to make sure that you win the fight easily enough that your Necros actually stay alive, that you can then push. These fights, they were so long drawn out because, again, the tankiness, that it's hard. So HellRaisers to go, oh wait, DP's not banned, let's go for that instead. The other point as well is Weaver's not banned, but there you go. I was going to say, I think VP they're pretty much deciding, we know we're going to probably pick Centaur because they've picked it so many times. Do we go for the Weaver or do we give it to them? Because if it was available, HellRaisers would go for Weaver.
Oh, this is an insane Rubik game. This is definitely insane. You have Shikuchi, which is, you always want to have like Blink Shikuchi or something with the Rubik to be mobile, and then if you want to stun, we all know how much Hoof Stomp actually does when it's on a Rubik. So from the beginning, good Rubik game. Rubik has been a really strong hero in this tournament. So I really like what HellRaisers have. On the other hand, Virtus Pro again going with their comfort. Heroes easy to execute, something they know how to play, and something that they can win. Just they don't need some massive plays, they just need to know at what time they do what around the map.
I also love the fact that it just kind of blocks a pretty potent lane combo, right? The Centaur plus Rubik potential, if you want to go that way. I guess you're probably not thinking that because you got your Weaver in there already.
Yeah, that's not really a thing. This is not really a block pick in any way. It's literally just as a solid pick to round out your opening phase. It's, if the Centaur isn't too smart, he doesn't press Retaliate after pressing Stampede, you could steal it, but again, just press Retaliate after you hit Stampede. A little PSA for any Rubik players, just so, Centaur players, sorry, just so you don't give away Stampede. So annoying actually when that happens. Whew.
Yeah, that's something that you never expect to happen, and your team is like, nah, Rubik is never getting Stampede, and you just make a slight mistake. Rubik is always gonna know that, he's always gonna try, so you know that you have to actually respond with your Retaliate. Yeah. So I don't think we'll see, but if we see, it's gonna be one stolen.
Yeah, I'll go for one Stampede stolen this game. Yeah. Yep. We'll keep that as a stat to measure.
But maybe it'll be a critical Stampede.
Or it could be worthless. We don't know.
Oh, that's the beauty of Dota. Anything can happen. And what do you think is going to happen, open up this second phase? Like, do you think Virtus Pro, is there a potential for this Weaver to be a core, or do you just like it too much in the kind of 4 role at the moment?
At this stage of drafting, like all these heroes, like Weaver, DP, Void Spirit, they pretty much go to any lane, any role, so it's, yeah, it can go anywhere. And then we get VP with the Witch Doctor. Not too bad. Again, it's VP, they played yesterday, and it was pretty much like a non-existent game for them, unfortunately. But it's all about this whole laning. VP, they play so fundamentally, and this draft goes so quickly, but they play so fundamentally around the idea of 4 protect 1, and Witch Doctor plays pretty well against that, because he has the early aggression to mitigate the fact that you're missing a hero, but then you can fall flat, so you need that core to really step up. And you can see that now. They've set themselves up for a pretty strong 4-hero combo, and yeah, so it's Spectre over Haunts, like it's deadly.
Yeah, this is literally 3 heroes that can fight early, constantly. There's a Necro, biggest counter to the Spectre in the game, when it comes to late game, of course, but you have 3 heroes that can constantly fight, and Spectre, even if he has a bad laning stage, which is not going to happen with the Witch Doctor, you can always haunt, because these 3 heroes can do enough damage, can run people down, can lock them down. So VP, really good start, and this is right in their comfort zone. This is something that they've been playing really well, and something that they've like fallen back to when it comes to the later stages of the group stage.
Yeah, I think if you're HellRaisers, you might want to ban out like a Storm or something, just because that reach is very strong. Sure, you have the double silence on DP Ricky, but as soon as you buy BKB, all the lockdown on HellRaisers is pretty much gone, and they've played it so many times already, the Storm plus Spectre combo. It looks greedy, but then you get to 30 minutes, you're like, yep, it's greedy, but it's so impossible to deal with. Okay, now they've got a little bit more lockdown. That's nice. That's pleasant.
It's a pretty decent disruptor game though, right? Like there's the Weaver, there's Centaur Stampede. You should be able to catch targets off.
Yeah, they have a lot of ways to catch them. My fear is they don't have a lot of big burst damage to deal with the Weaver Ag. So even if you do get a Scythe off, Weaver just Ags resets that hero and then suddenly Scythes out the picture. And VP have set themselves up for their classic game of you might be able to play aggressive, but will eventually just outscale you, and that's exactly what they're doing in this game. They already have the win condition and they have last pick. The disruptor pick also shows that the DP will be your obviously your mid lane, with your Funnick most likely playing the off lane. Again, they might change it up if the DP and Necro is off lane or mid, depending on this last pick. That's the last bit of flexibility in their draft. But
what I don't like about this Necro is his paired with Rubik. Rubik usually likes someone in front of him to be actually that strong hero, because Necro, even though it's a Spectre and the Witch Doctor lane, he can die in the first 3-4 levels. If he makes a mistake, he can die. He's not that sturdy if he stands in front. These guys don't really spam spells. You're not gonna have a full stick.
Ooh, okay.
And they do go for the Pugna.
Yeah.
I was wondering if they could do this because there is that double silence you talked about as well, but such low cooldowns, right?
Yeah, Pugna's generally really nice. Like you're going to be up against DP or Necro, so you're going to have a decent lane. It means that now when you play in your 4 and your Spectre's farming, you can actually pressure objectives and try and close out the map and own the map in that way. My concern is like, if Ricky has a really good start to the game and he goes for like Diffusal, Nullifier, Pugna pretty much doesn't have a game, and you're very reliant on the Spectre to be your late game damage. Like you might fall flat on damage right now because you rely, like literally, what is your damage?
That can happen. That can happen. But is Ricky really going to have a good laning stage? He has a disruptor in lane and he's against the Centaur Weaver. Right?
But if I was HellRaisers, I'd just put the Ricky bottom, put the Necro top, DP mid. Your Necro just sits up against the Centaur, has a good lane. You aggro the Ricky like they did in the previous game, and then you pretty much enable your entire team to have
to play. They actually have burst damage. Stomp Centaur, Maledict, and Pugna burst. The hero is gonna die.
A hero.
Yeah, okay.
Where are the other 4 dying?
They're not.
Okay. So I think for that very reason, and that logic bomb alone, I'm gonna go with HellRaisers because they actually have a way out of the game. But maybe if they make an egregious misplay, they might fall flat, but nah, HellRaisers.
Do you agree with that, Nicola? Did he just convince you to backpedal the HellRaisers camp?
He didn't convince me. He has a valid point, but he didn't convince me. I think this is really in Virtus Pro's comfort zone, and it's a really easy lineup to execute. You know your timings, and it's just going to be a kind of straightforward game from them.
Pretty split here on the panel. It could go either way, so we'll throw it across to our commentator duo to see if we can actually pull out a third game here for the first time in the playoffs, or is this going to continue the 2-0 streak?
Prepare for battle.
Well done, my beauties. The stench of death is upon you.
Wait for it.
What a surprise!
Seconds to battle.
I could be wrong. I think top's where the action's going to be.
Exactly. This top lane is gonna be Spectre with the slow, then the solo. Actually, he's already scaling up Rooted Restoration, so they're gonna play a very defensive style in this lane top. Just sustain the Spectre, keep him alive, get him the farm that he needs, and then eventually, I think when the Weaver TPs to the top lane, once Centaur is like completely fine bottom, that's when we're gonna see a bunch of action. Because with Maledict, Cask, and then the Weaver just Shikuching on top and activating the Swarm, that's gonna do a lot in this top lane. And as you said, the mid lane is going to be pretty much a wash. No one just wants to get some experience, probably rotate to the Centaur's lane later, help him take the tower, or the Centaur rotates to him, help him take the mid tower, something of that sort. And then they're always going to have the Stampede ready to get out of engagements where Exorcism gets activated.
That's a scary thing. That's going to be a scary factor in this game, which I feel hasn't really had that much talked about it, but the Exorcism does kind of give HellRaisers a very clear timing to fight around. It gives them the pushing ability, which they would lack without it. And basically this spell, I feel like, is going to determine a lot of the way these teams play the game. I think it's definitely the biggest spell in the game. Meanwhile, Weaver in the bottom lane getting pretty loads from Pushka and the Ricky here as they continue harassing out Zayats here, but jump away from Nick's just going to save him from Sakuchi, and nothing's going to happen down his bottom lane for the time being, but actually, there's a salve on the Centaur if he wants to pass it the way of Zayats. We'll see.
Yeah, there's the double wave already pushing up into this lane, so Centaur's going to be able to farm that up. Zayak just needs to make sure that this disruptor doesn't get any pulls off, and as long as I think Resolution is going to be extremely happy in this lane. It's when the Centaur hits that Retali level 3. I'm kind of surprised that he went for the hook stomp, actually. As long as you have the Retali, you build up any stacks, and then when you get level 3, you get the level 2 Retali, it's going to be very difficult for the Ricky to lane.
Yeah, he might suffer a little bit. Zayats he's the one on the receiving end of this bottom lane aggression, though. I mean, Pushka is constantly throwing out the Thunder Strikes onto this Weaver, abusing his relatively small health pool, as Resolution just continues to sit in the middle of this lane. Just be super annoying. He's probably going to take this. Yep, takes the big tomato creep as well, so getting himself that extra bit of money. Meanwhile, it's actually Funnick in the top lane who's done pretty well to start things off. 12-2. Currently the CS leader into the Spectre is currently 7-0, so a decent amount of pressure being put on LTW for the time being by Roger and Funnick. And to be honest, this does strike me as a pretty good lane. Generally, Rubik along with someone who wants to sit in people's faces feels like a good idea to me. You know, that favor, you get much more value out of it if you've got someone who's just kind of sitting there begging to be attacked. That's exactly what the Necrophos can do to you, so it seems like they are playing this lane quite well, and yeah, they're gonna have to try and pull through and get some CS in the jungle instead.
Yeah, it's a very tough lane for the Spectre, that's for sure. 2 range heroes hitting him, and one of them having Heartstop Aura. This Funnick, like Necrophos, is the bane of every melee carries that you can pretty much find. So we're gonna have to see big rotations come from either the Necrophos or the Weaver. Sorry, not the Necrophos, the Pugna or the Weaver for BP side to help this Spectre have an easier time in the laning stage.
Yeah, but as we mentioned before, that's very unlikely. I mean, I don't think anybody from this middle lane is going to be rotating, because the moment one rotates, their tower is just going to be pushed down so quickly. I mean, the blast and the exorcisms on the other side, like it's very much 2 sticky mid laners which want to force the stay in lane. So the side laners have to be very self-sufficient in their laning, and right now RTW is having some troubles.
Yeah, Solo just has this Voodoo Restoration permanently on, trying to sustain the Spectre as best as he can. Then they just keep hitting him non-stop. 22 last hits on Funnick here. Almost perfect CS in his lane at the moment. Already has a Brace and 2 Fairy Fire, so it's going to be extremely difficult to kill. But I think they need to understand on BP that the Necrophos is the key factor in this game. He's the one that needs to shut down. They got to really, put that pressure on him. So I do expect no one still to move out of this lane, even though the DP will be able to, use exorcism and take this tower mid lane, because that is how important Necrophos is in this game.
Yeah, it does kind of seem like Virtus Pro never really planned to win the lane, to be honest with you. Like, going Voodoo Restoration first on the Witch Doctor is very telling of how they kind of already knew that things were going to be pretty rough on this top lane, and we're definitely experiencing that. But meanwhile at mid, I want to talk about this matchup a little bit, because he's doing very, very well right now. He's getting 25-8 to the Death Prophet 16-10, so with a pretty decent advantage over Kasani right now. Nice struggling to CS under that tower right now.
Yeah, but Kasani does have 10 denies. It's not too bad. It's just all the Decrepifies onto the Death Prophet, so he has to use the Crit Swarm to get the last hits in the lane. It's just a little bit annoying for the DP, but at the end of the day, it's just gonna come down to like the 5v5 matchups in this kind of game, because the laning is just, there's a lot of, you know, spells and creep skipping, and, you know, people just trying to play for the levels going on. So I'm very excited this game to see how when the fights start breaking loose. But Funnick actually gonna get Malady to top. It's just level 1.
Yeah, he's chill. He's chill. Actually, they're turning it around, but it's really the bottom lane where the action's happening. They take down Pushka. Solo getting low at top, but they can't finish the job under that tower. That's the Vivid Restoration going to work here for Solo, along with the tower helping out a little bit, a tiny bit as well. But yeah, I mean, it's actually down in the bottom lane. Pushka just kind of gets jumped in the jungle. And that was the Pugna coming in for that one as well. So,
and Pugna got the first blood, so he's extremely happy about that. His net worth is gonna inflate just a little bit here. Surprisingly, Resolution is actually not doing that well bottom lane. I think this has a lot to do with scaling Hoof Stomp level 1. Retaliate is a very important skill level 1, especially to help you last hit some of the creeps as well. You can always manipulate your lanes because of it. So Resolution not doing as well as he would like, and I think that's gonna hurt them quite a bit.
It certainly seems to have done, but they're trying to come back into this one. I also think it's kind of down to the fact that Zayas just keeps getting bullied in this lane. And as you see here, I mean, they're just jumping in pretty hard here. And Zayas, he's going to have to get himself away. Has it scooch in 1 second, but won't get it off. The tricks of the terrain and the lightning bolts finish the job onto the Weaver. And I mean, that's a lot. That is a lot. As I said, Weaver not particularly high health pool, relies on his evasiveness, but with the damage out from the Thunder Strike and along with the double blink strikes from Nyx, it's really hard for this Weaver to keep his health pool up and keep being effective in this lane. And that just leaves Resolution alone. And yeah, this is a Pushka show down in the bottom lane. This Disruptor, he's owning.
Oh, yeah, here we go. The Pugna rotating to the bottom lane now.
Oh, this might be a bit of that's right now. See you later, Pushka. I'm sorry. That one's on me, but he's going to get run down. And I don't think there's much they can do about Ricky. They're still trying for it, but the TP's coming over from the Rubik, trying to help out his Ricky now, but they're pinging him. They know he's here. And this might just be Roger actually taking the bait in this one. He could lift the partner, but decides not to. He's tanking like the full life drain up. Kasani's down into this one, though. Pops the ultimate, pops the exits, and they see the Pugna, but he's TPing himself away. Zay's able to run around on the sidelines as well, and Roger unable to really lock down Resolution and throw him back. Since Exism is really doing nothing, he's going to use it to farm a hard camp.
Wow, that was actually so epic from no one. He goes bottom, he realizes that Rubik is the only disabled there, forces so much reactions, especially the DP, who uses Exism bottom instead of pressuring the mid tower, and then he just TPs out. Now, all of a sudden, there's no more Exorcism, there's no threat of his mid tower ever dying anymore, and now he can do the same exact move again, either top lane or bottom lane, wherever he chooses. That was just genius from no one.
Certainly was. He's controlling this game right now. This Pugna had a decent start and turning it into a very decent lane. Naturally, the Rubik goes to steal the rune, but no one just positioning himself on the high ground, trying to do it with a right click. So have that life drain, but has not the Nether Blast available. But won't actually be able to get the kill onto the Rubik right now, especially with Kasani showing up and forcing back no one. It's still a lot of damage taken. But yeah, Roger
he's still arcane rune for the Pugna.
Yeah.
Like, if that Pugna got that arcane rune, that would be some very scary things in this game. Look at Funnick top lane. He's all by himself up here, fighting off 2 heroes. I mean, if we look at Spectre's classes, he's doing pretty good. He got the level 6, but it definitely doesn't feel good that this one offlaner can just sit here and not be punished in any sort of way whatsoever.
Yeah, but the Rubik, he's kind of been moving around the map a little bit, so that does free up things a little bit for the Spec. They can't just keep on pressuring the Spec, but I don't know, I think at this stage he will hold the phone as they look forward onto the Central Warrunner right now. The lift back, keep him inside that smoke cloud for as long as possible. Resolution can't use any spells. All he can do is get cooked up in the bottom lane by Roger, Pushka, and Nyx. That's a nice kill onto the Centaur, and yeah, a bit of a stark difference coming out between, oh, look at the stacks which Funnick is currently taking.
That's a lot.
This guy's rich.
After this.
Oh no one. He might see this happening right now. Might be able to take a significant chunk off these creeps. They're going to look forward onto the next boss here, and he just gets absolutely obliterated. And now these big fat creeps, the juicy ones, come in the way of no one. He's going to take them all. Oh dear.
You hate to see that. You hate to see that. Oh, no one takes all the creeps.
All their work, all their investment, their offlaner who's doing so well. Tragic.
It feels so good for no one. He's about to hit 9, just about to be 10 minutes into this game. Oh no. And that's the #1 network hero on Radiant side as well, dying.
Yeah, it's a really high value kill at that as well. 235 gold. Also grabbing these creeps as well, and Funix like, unfortunately also misses the D-ward as well. I think that they'll have it this deep, so yeah, he's in trouble. He's in trouble. The glimpse is going to come out. Not needed though. They'll get the buggle this. Might still kill in the mid lane. Maybe Kasani can get some pressure onto the tower as well. Wicked Sexism already running. Looks like he will be able to do so. And though coming in with solo, they're going to try and defend this one, I suppose. But I'm not sure how much they can really do. Fortify comes out.
It's almost done the exorcism. I think they should be okay with defending this. Can decrepify the catapult or something? Yeah, all good, all good.
He's hungry. He wants a death prophet. They're actually going to maybe rotate their Spectre into this one, but the silence comes down onto the Pugner. But the problem is where the real action is. Nyx, though, he's also able to escape this engagement. So that successful so far for Virtus Pro, but still looking for Pushka. LTW really hungry to make this rotation work for him. Try and trade the aggro over towards Evolution, and now the damage coming down. No one turns up to this bottom lane, and they will be able to drop a Pushka. Roger? Not sure that's the team you were looking for, my friend. You're probably going to lose this life. Turns around, though, with the Vector, and get resolution kind of low here. They're going to have to drop the Death Ward to try and get the kill. They will bring down Roger. Did a decent amount of work into his ex-teammate there, but does eventually power. Meanwhile, Death Prophet getting down here. She really wants to try and finish the tower. I'm going to try and go in with a life drain. No one unable to deny, but might get a return kill onto DP. DP going for the TP out. It's going to be close down to 120 HP, but not enough damage in the level 1 life drain to kill off the Death Prophet. So pretty successful in the middle lane for HellRaisers, and to be honest, not a bad past few minutes for HellRaisers in general.
Yeah, and meantime, Fun has just been sitting in top lane, just pressuring this tower up with the catapult here at the same time. The only unfortunate thing for HellRaisers is that the Riki hasn't been able to farm for like the last minute or so since he has been pressured. But the tier 1 middle here.
Stop looking towards Funnick, and again it's going to be Funnick losing his life time after time. This is his second death now up in this. Virtus Pro again here, and now they're looking to pressure yet another tower. They want these side towers. They want the advantage to get that sentry down and get their vision out, but Virtus Pro already on the retreat.
Yeah, you really cannot be doing that as the highest net worth and essentially the carry in your game as his Necrophos. So that's going to be pretty big, and you can see VP's game plan. Like, they're not too worried about the towers. They're more worried about like getting experience for themselves. If they can get kills, they will just keep doing that because they know they're playing the Spectre game. Spectre just wants to farm up, get his Radiance going and such. So HellRaisers, they understand as well what VP wants to do, and they don't want to get that to them. So now they're starting to group up. They're starting to pressure towers. They want VP to fight into them 5-on-5 instead of just always getting picked off all over the map.
As we shift into this mid game, I think we're going to really see the full potential of the HellRaisers lineup. Once they hit that time, I think their team fight is going to be strong, but he having some troubles down in the bottom lane. That's what the tricks the trader don't have anything to jump to, or maybe he does, but Pushka turns up just in the nick of time. There's a Maledict on though, and that's going to put an end to Nyx, and actually Pushka might just be another log on this fire in the bottom lane. The right click's going to do from solo, and Pushka is going to get his sausage slice down in the bottom lane. 2 kills going their way.
Solo. You can see LTW, he's like, I got 1 second on dagger, give me the kill, and boom. He's like, nah, my double kill, baby. And that was such a nice play onto the Riki. That level from Maledict, and the cast actually bounced to the Riki, so he couldn't use the trick of the trade right away. So he took too much damage from the combo of the Witch Doctor and just falling into that position 1. And Spectre got a lot of XP from that too. He's about to hit level 10. He's a very, very high XP Spectre. Look at the Necrophos, who was pretty much solo in the top lane. He's not even, I wouldn't say not even close, but he's not the head of the Spectre anymore.
That was cute. Nick's actually smoking the Ancients just to make sure he can get the D-ward off safely, because he didn't want to get stoned by those Ancient powers. But yeah, no, this net worth chart's looking really worrying now for HellRaisers. And you know, we were just saying about how HellRaisers is going to be the team which is looking to shine in the mid game, but the timings are being delayed. You know, Nyx, he wanted to have this Diffusal Blade finished by now, and he is still a little bit of ways off. Kasani as well doesn't have the yields finished, and this Necro dying at some key times doesn't have the mech. Like, everything is just turning up so slowly for HellRaisers because of the movements which Virtus.pro are making. But they're looking for some action with their cells now, but they've only seen Solo here. Maybe if they can get LTW, that would be a bigger target, but Stampede actually used preemptively just to make sure these guys get out of here. The catch is so lacking on the side of HellRaisers. They're trying to look for the glimpse here. They've got 2 points in it. LTW is going to be the target. They're dropping the ultimate, everything coming down to the spectrum right now. Exism being thrown into the mix right now. They want to kill off LTW. LTW for getting through the trees to the death board, forcing back the side of HellRaisers. The TPs are coming on over, and now the aggression switches. They pops the ultimate from the Spectre here, trying to find more targets for Pushka. That's going to be an easy pick up on the trees here, so he's going to try and run them in a bit of circles and stop them fighting his team, but it is another victory for Virtus.pro. You could maybe argue that at least Ricky's having some time to farm his defusal, but he was actually just kind of hanging around, hitting some lane creeps in this situation, still not finding that much. Maybe they can grab the Weaver here, but actually a little bit late on the left, maybe on the left? No, it doesn't seem to make. Oh, never mind. It does make a difference because he gets off that time lapse. So don't bring him down in time. Zaz just calmly runs himself away, and again, HellRaisers just not finding these kills.
Man, it feels like HellRaisers are getting very, very impatient. Like that Spectre kill was a very far-stretched, goal there. They just wait for the Ricky to get the diffusal blade and then take these engagements, but they feel they gotta do something, and again, another Death Prophet ultimate being completely wasted. So they're a little bit slowing down their own tempo because they're overly aggressive at this point in the game, where all they gotta do is just group up and go for some objectives.
All they gotta do, and that's probably making that very difficult for them there. Meanwhile, the Reaper side coming down onto the Weaver. It's not enough to bring down Birds, and actually it's a Necrophos who's in trouble. Virtus.pro just again and again, every single move HellRaisers tried to make, they are just 2 steps ahead, finding the return kills, getting the big ones down, and now looking for the tower as well as Resolution, just chomping it away at the tower. But in goes the Ricky on the sideline to the force match out onto him, nearly cute enough to disrupt that kill, but Ricky does bring him down in the end. Meanwhile, jump in onto the Death Prophet, Resolution doing a decent amount of damage to Kasani. Kasani can't actually pop a spell because of this annoying Nether Ward. Now Stampede's being used. No one trying to turn this one around, but the Yule's out onto the DP. Nether Ward, well, they're actually going to run themselves away, Virtus.pro. They are so low on HP. There's no cleanup crew available from the side of HellRaisers, so all these low health heroes from Virtus.pro are just going to be able to run themselves away. They do lose their Weaver, but it's very little advantage. That said, there's actually a gold advantage for Virtus.pro side, but it's very, very small. So even though they have been doing a lot of work across the map, the time they're taking to make these movements, it is reflecting in their net worth, but I don't think they're minding that much. But you're right, RTW could be the one in trouble. Lift up, throw back, keeping him inside the smoke for as long as possible with these TPs coming on over. The HellRaisers need to get themselves out.
That's why he maxed out Dispersion. The spell is so good at mitigating damage, but he might still get gone here. Oh.
Glimpse back. LTW under the tower. Funnick really hungry for this one, but I don't think they're going to find him. There's too many heroes from Virtus.pro here, and again, this overextension might be punished, though the life train immediately cancelled out by Kasani with that silence. That's not going to happen. Actually, no one picking out. There's a ward here, guys, but there is not. There's such thing.
I don't think so.
I think this is the position in the map where HellRaisers actually do want to be, though, because this has effectively stopped the BP from, farming as much as they were earlier. But obviously, BP know exactly what's happening, and they're like, okay, guys, let's go split push once again. Just let them be there. We don't need to take this engagement.
Now they're going to the Pugna here, but he's actually got the force touch to get himself from May, but Pushka, he's still got left on this glimpse if they want to try and take this fight. They're going to try and make it happen soon. Resolution is standing by with an invis rune nearby, going to jump in, get the storm, trying to buy no on the time he needs to get away, but that's not going to happen. They get the kill, and now they'll move on to the Centaur as well, and the Yules is coming down. He's going for the TP out, but there's a lift available on Rogers, and that Centaur is going absolutely nowhere. HellRaisers, they're going to spice up Virtus.pro source a little bit as they try to make some stuff happen in the mid lane, but end up feeding away 2 kills, and now it's HellRaisers' turn to fight back. What can they do with this? They do have exorcism.
Yeah, that's so good by HellRaisers. They got the Ricky finally, as we were saying, right? All they need is a Ricky defusal, so they have a way to initiate properly and have a slow going, right? So on this map, though, at the moment, the Spectre already went bottom, pushed the lane out. So now HellRaisers got to reassess the situation. 2 heroes are dead, but the lanes are not in a good position for them. So you just want to, get these lanes out and maybe go for these tier 1 and tier 2 towers bottom and hope that BP actually fights them. But look at IOTW. He is waiting ever so patiently. Oh boy, he doesn't want to TP. He doesn't know where to TP to farm right now, so he's unsure.
Is he going to be punished? It's like that. It's like X, but he knows. He's picking exactly where he is. What's the play? What is the plan? There's the Spectral Dagger available, but yeah, in comes the ultimate. Virtus Pro are hit. They're all pinned down in the trees, and Kasani's going to be the #1 target right now. He does have a Yule's Will get off, but what happens afterwards are not very much, I might imagine. He is trying to get off these Spirit Siphons, but meanwhile, the backlines are taking down the Pushka. Kasani going to go down. Meanwhile, Funnick running in a direction, but I mean, there's not really many places for him to run right now. As Virtus Pro, they will be getting on top of him, and it's going to be a bit of a slow one, but they should be getting a kill here. There's no hope coming in for Funnick right now. He's buying them a little bit of time, but he will die eventually. Meanwhile, Roger, he goes to take some outposts at the very least, so they get the XP advantage from the outposts, but yeah, I mean, that's still 3 really, really big kills from Virtus Pro in the bottom lane.
Yeah, Hi is very proud. They stayed in the trees. Spectre baited them, and here came Virtus Pro to just wipe them out one by one. I mean, HellRaisers are really unsure of what they're doing when this Riki is just not in the fight. Like, they gotta understand that Riki is the most important hero in their lineup, and he needs to be the one to lead these engagements with his vision or his diffusal blade, and then after that they can take the fights. If the Riki's not there, you just gotta back off, and if he cannot TP to you, you can't be in super aggressive positions on the map anymore.
You need him. This Riki needs to be doing more than he is, I feel. But he has got a lot of farm. He is the most farmed hero in the game, and he is going for this Nullifier as his first item. What do you make of that?
I think it's good to purge someone so they can't get decrepified. That's the reason why he's buying it.
Right.
So that way, no one can be saved, or no one cannot save someone else or himself or any, whoever gets nullified. And it's also a really nice soul. But what I really want to mention right now, though, Nomad, is click on Spectre, right?
Clicky. Yeah.
What's he got coming on the card here?
He's got a Radiance, right?
Yep.
Alrighty.
It wasn't a bait for a rapier, okay? I was just trying to let you know that there's a Radiance online, and this is the big item. This is the Spectre timing item. He's got 30 seconds. His team is already smoking up before the Haunt's even up, so that when the engagement does start, they already have it ready to go. And this is going to be the make or break situation for both teams. HellRaisers have to win this engagement. They just have to win this engagement, no matter what.
It's going to be so tough. They don't know about this Radiance yet. Maybe they've looked in the middle lane. Maybe they assume it's coming. But regardless, they'll start onto Kasani. There needs to be a save coming out for this Death Roll, but that's just not going to happen. It's immediately an entry kill onto the enemy mid laner. Roger going to be the next target up here as he loses most of his health. Stampede coming out just to make sure this happens. Roger, though, going to steal it, going to help him get away. But is he even doing that? Funny going for the TP is successful. Roger's still on the run, but I think he's going to get run down. Meanwhile, Zayas gets a kill onto the Pushka, and Roger's going to meet his end fairly swiftly afterwards. And that is 3 kills for the side of Virtus Pro. A successful defense up that top lane, an amazing debut off this Radiance. Is that the kind of fight you were looking for, Theben?
That's the kind of fight I expected. But if you're a VP fan if you're a HellRaiser fan right now, you were really hoping that they would be able to win that engagement somehow. But perfect jump onto the DP. Haunt comes through, gets vision of every hero. It's crazy. You get Radiant, you use the Haunt, then instantly you already have 1,000 gold. All your teammates are also getting a bunch of experience from these kills. They get some more map control, and now HellRaiser's got to think, what do we do next? Right? The Haunt is on cooldown. We might have a small opportunity right now to go use EXO on a tier 2 tower, and maybe VP make a mistake from there and take the engagement even while Haunt is on cooldown.
I mean, I think there's a huge case to be made about DP's positioning in this game as well. She feels invincible because of the heal scepter, but Kasani has just made herself such an easy target to go on each time. And I expect this if you have like an Oracle or a Dazzle or something like that on your team, or even the Shadow Demon, but they don't have that save. But now they go. They find the Sentinel. This is a big target. Can they bring him down in time? Trick the Trade doing a decent amount of work, and they will get the kill immediately. Jumping across onto Solo. That's going to be the next target right now, and it doesn't look like Virtus Pro can bring anything more to this fight. They're going to accept their losses. They lose an off-laner and a 5 position. It's not that bad. The success is still winning, so they can look towards getting this tier 2 in the mid as well.
Yeah, the best thing about this for HellRaisers right now is that there's nobody on VP side split pushing at this moment. So they're actually all stuck in the base. It's like all 5 heroes are actually dead for Virtus Pro because they're not doing anything but sit in the base, right? So they're going to get a little bit of breathing room here. Unfortunately, DP ult had to be used there to be able to kill that Centaur. So again, another opening going to come for VP now, where once Centaur and Witch Doctor are alive, the Haunt is in play.
Yep. It's the battle of the X. It's now a battle of the Horn with his Radiance up. That is the probably now the biggest spell in the game. Virtus Pro have control of it.
They're here on this hill. HellRaisers, they don't want to stop. They really want to keep pressuring them. They make another smoke play here, but they're not DPO. I don't know about this one. They gotta get a really big kill though, on a core.
Solo is not that. I love Trixie to the high ground, but Solo need to get the terror from the stun. It's an awkward engagement here. BKB pops the breaking. He tries to go forward this one. They've actually lifted up the central, so he can't get the stop. Now he uses the stampede, but they're able to take down Rook, but no one has also died. Funnick will trade his life as RTW, tanking a decent amount of damage here, but it's looking like the fight going in VP's favor. Nick's trying to run himself away, but has nothing to jump to, and all 5 heroes just get annihilated. There is too much damage to fight into. A valuable lesson learned from HellRaisers here, I feel. You can't VP with their ultimates up like this, but oh gosh, oh no. Pushka tried to do a bit of warding, but ends up getting pulled down. Zayat decides he wants to kill, and that's going to be yet another kill going the way of Virtus Pro, making it, I think that's 6 now with the dieback on the disruptor, so pretty good for Virtus Pro, all things said and done.
And this Spectre is like 1,000 something gold away from finishing in Manta as well. She's just getting enormous in this game, and they needed to actually get the jump onto the Spectre and Reaper sight them in order for them to even have a shot in that team fight. Unfortunately, Spectre was not the one getting caught out, and things turned really sour for HellRaisers very quickly. But I mean, there's some hope here though, because although the goal, I mean, like I said, I really dislike looking at goalies in terms of, you know, who's winning in these kinds of situations. I kind of look at spells. I think HellRaisers still have a shot in a sense that if they do get this BK back on the DP and maybe Necropulse finishes one more item and there's like a bad engagement taken by VP, they can definitely come back. Because this Ricky still does plenty of damage as well.
Bottom tower is under attack.
Yeah, he does. He's still, you know, a farmed hero. Did decide to go for the BKB rather than jump straight in for that nullifier, but I feel like that was the right choice. Unfortunately, just a poor fight choice from HellRaisers.
Exactly. Like they just smoked into the enemy team without any vision, and also a DP exorcism on cooldown. Right? Like we as casters already saw the disaster waiting to happen.
Yeah.
It's smoke already, so like they can only imagine that. They just gotta assess the situation. Like, why are we winning fights? Oh, Ricky leads the fights, and DP has exorcism. Those are the ones that we've won. So that's what we gotta keep on doing. And sometimes in the middle of a game, that's really difficult to see.
It is indeed. Yeah. I want to point out that Zayat's actually going for an Aghanims as expected on the 4th position on the Weaver. That is such a good item to have with the Spectre, though. I mean, this combination of heroes is just disgusting. Like, taking 2 rounds of damage, along with the Spectre getting a second chance, is continuously getting off this Radiance burn, along with her natural damage as well. I mean, it's just too much to deal with. Zayat's having some fun, playing on the edge here with this time lapse, and he's still running into his heroes as well. Look at this guy, he's baiting so hard. He's like, yeah, you want to kill me? Come and kill me, boys. See if you can manage it. But I've got the cavalry on the way, and if you don't make this a quick death, then I will not be the one lying on the floor dead.
Yep. I want to mention something. Zayak, he was the chosen one. They gave him a jelly. Oh, dodge again, jump.
Oh, so low. The mech comes out from front of the Guardian's Greaves, helping him out, and should be enough to help him survive through this one. Helps him out a hell of a lot.
We were talking a lot about supports getting jellies. I remember no one is the one who got that, and he actually gave the jelly to the Weaver. So you can see the amount of respect they got for Zayak here. And I mean, okay, to be fair, Weaver actually needs jelly. This hero, as a support, uses so much mana that jelly just makes him a completely different hero. And especially to be able to farm up like this Vessel and Aghanims, I would say he's actually an even more important hero than like Centaur this game. He's more like the position 3 in terms of like the priority in
what he brings, yeah.
Of items. Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely. Yeah, Nick's actually jumping in here. They're going to go for the easy pick up onto the Witch Doctor, but again, that disruption coming through, and now the heal actually coming out. They really want to switch up to survive this fight, but Roger won't be so lucky. Meanwhile, they will be able to finally get the kill onto Solo. Pretty even right now, but Kasani's popped both the BKB and the Exorcism, but Roshan is up. But RTW, he is in. He's coming back into this one. Stampede being used as well. They really want to try and take this fight, but they're going to try and capture Weaver on the sidelines, but Weaver is dancing around. The damage comes through into the death bomb, and the heals comes out from her. Trying to keep keep herself alive just a little bit longer, but they are on top. He actually has to back himself up. And now with the Spirit Siphon isn't enough to keep that from alive. It certainly is not. Ruby Siphon comes down. It's not enough to keep Resolution down there. He turns around, kills off the DP. Meanwhile, Nyx and Pushka ran all the way back to base in this fight, so they wanted nothing to do with that one. Thought it was going wrong way earlier, and just got themselves out, left their death off of the deck. I don't know how I feel about that one. I felt like that was a real opportunity for the Ricky to get in and do some real damage in that fight, but unfortunately, he just never turned up, and that's going to allow Virtus Pro to take this Roshan. I don't know, how did you agree with the position to get out on HellRaisers there? Do you think that fight really was over?
Well, they feel like every time Spectre uses the ultimate and gives vision on all of them, they are so hesitant to take the fight after that. And the problem is, like, if your DP does use the exorcism, you gotta stand your ground. And you gotta, like, help him. Because now they just get the free Aegis, you completely forfeited everything, and there's no more fights anymore. As soon as you're alive, you don't have your big team fighting tool any longer. So
that's you right, buddy. Let's actually Pushka's the one who's going to get brought down here. Zard's getting super low. They will get the kill in the end, but now the Ricky might be in some trouble. Nice BKB though, dodging out the Stomp, jumping over to Roger as well, who stuns Kuchi and getting away out of this fight. Nyx though, he's got 4 seconds left for his next Blink Strike, but he is invisible and they don't seem to have the detection right now. They do have the dust, but they won't be able to find the Ricky, although ping's coming out from solo. I think the Ricky might have just dipped under the tower for a second there. He's on the run under the safety of his sentry, and yeah, Nyx is going to be okay in the end.
One hit.
Ooh, God, Roger. Still playing a dangerous game right now. And they're just going to drop the death ward to finish the job. Tip coming out for solo. They'll tip each other. Who's like parent?
It's tipping one another.
It's almost like a handshake.
Yeah, Nyx, I don't know, man. This Ricky, he might have had the right idea with the nullifier, but he had to go for the BKB, right? So his damage output is still not so high, and the Pugna can definitely still save someone from this Ricky by just decrepping them. So, TeamSpeak in 2020.
Yeah, Virtus Pro. Maybe they got some like old contracts or sponsors or something like that. No, I'm just kidding.
I'm kidding. I was actually using TeamSpeak up until like whatever point I stopped playing professionally Dota. Like it's just a preference thing. I think like most of the teams never moved on to Discord for talking and stuff like that. TeamSpeak just has like, it's easy to use, I guess, or it's comfortable. People are used to it.
Yeah, for sure. I think there's got to be something to do with the latency as well, because Discord sometimes, using the you can get personalized servers on TeamSpeak as well. But anyway, the game's back on. Quick hiatus here as we get back into this game. But yeah, I think HellRaisers are going to be in a really tough position to win this game right now. I mean, the Spectre with the Aegis, she's going for a Scouty next as well. And the Weaver's going to be behind when he's back alive pretty soon, grabbing an Aghanim's as well. So LTW is he's just a monster this game.
Yep. I mean, this Disruptor and the Rubik are just going to be food for the Spectre every time he picks one, unless he's taunting onto someone that Resolution jumps, Centaur Stomps on. That's also a very good target to go on. It just feels like team fighting for VP is so much easier than HellRaiser. For HellRaiser, it's like a very complicated math equation in terms of how they need to start the engagement, where they're starting the engagement, and who they need to jump.
All right, but spell that math equation out for me. I want to hear how you think HellRaisers could enter this fight to stand the best chance of winning. What needs to go right? Oh god, not like this, Roger.
They need everybody alive. They need everybody alive. But if there was a situation where they can win fights, they would need this Ricky to go from behind, jump the Witch Doctor, kill him, since he doesn't have any ways of staying alive against a clown, apart from the Pugna getting a decurve on him. They need a DP to silence the Pugna, and then they can take an engagement from there, where they already kill off the position 5, and they gotta play with buyback for sure.
Yeah, these repair kits doing a lot of work for HellRaisers though, as Virtus Pro attempts to take to the high ground, but actually they've got so little damage to take towers with. These repair kits are going to be doing a hell of a lot of work this game.
He's got a nullifier on the Ricky.
Yep, just gets it finished. He's staying on the base long enough to grab it. Now, maybe they stand a chance of jumping on the Witch Doctor and finishing him off. They're actually going to go onto the puck instead. No fire comes out, keeping him inside, but in comes the ultimate from the Weaver to keep him alive, but it's not enough. They bring him down, and now Spectre, she's in some trouble. And RW going to lose his first life, and they'll look across to the Sentinel, but the HellRaisers might have just found themselves the dream scenario here, and they're jumping on top of the Spectre right now. Spectre just trying to run herself away. Meanwhile, Solo turning it around with the Death Ward, trying to come into this one as the DP needs to get herself back a little bit here, but they have killed off Solo. He is dead. Now they look forward onto the Weaver again, nullified up. They're bringing him down. So much work being done by Ricky with the nullifier. Roger have to be careful on the front lines here. It doesn't let them take this fight, but they're also very, very low on the side of HellRaisers. They can't afford to let themselves get killed off by LTW. A lot of respect being shown from HellRaisers, but at the same time they want it. They want it badly, but Nixie's taking so much damage. User tricks and tries to dodge a little bit, but backs himself out. They can't do this. They realize that they cannot bring down the Spectre, so back themselves out. But HellRaisers, they do find the Dream Initiation target all along. It wasn't the Witch Doctor, it was the Pugner, and they bring him down, and no one does buy back into it, but unfortunately doesn't get to the fight in time, and HellRaisers get a huge high ground defense. They take the Aegis off them as well. So much done, and I mean, this nullifier, I was thinking, all right, it should do a bit, but it did work, Steven.
Oh yeah, that was actually so huge. I think the nullifier stopped the Force Staff as well. I'm not sure how the mechanic there works, but he did force himself, but it looked like it stopped midway there. And because he did finish the nullifier, he was able to jump the Pugna instead of the Witch Doctor. He has so much damage there. The Aghanims almost making some MVP plays there, but the Necrophos ultimate stunning him long enough to just die, and that's what you need. You need to just burst someone at the start of the fight where they don't cast any spells, and then you just take the engagement after that. And you gotta let this Ricky lead. It's so important that they let this Ricky lead the fights.
My question to you is this going to happen again? Because this was the reveal of the nullifier. Virtus.pro didn't know about it. Now they're going to adjust their game plan. Is this going to happen again when a Pugna gets jumped like this?
Well, I think he's going to be a lot more... He actually used his buyback in the last fight, so if the Pugna gets jumped like that, again, the game might just be like... I wouldn't say over, but they're going to lose every advantage VP has amassed in this game if the Pugna dies again. So he cannot afford to do that. He's got to play super safe. He's probably just playing to buy his BKB now, so that doesn't happen again, right? The Nullifier can't really do much against the Black King Bar there. So they're just going to AFK a little bit on the map, complete that before they take any more engagement.
Yeah, like game plan now from both teams. We'll see who it manages to work out for better. Now, you know, I want to point out something here. Why on earth does Disruptor? He's actually got 2 Wind Laces and Tranquil Boots. Not sure about that one, Chief. I mean, multiple bonuses from multiple Wind Laces do not stack. So.
When you're thinking about a lot of things, those things happen sometimes.
I mean, he's actually, you know, Tranquil Boots, they require a Wind Lace as well, right? So he's actually got 3 Wind Laces. Meanwhile, LTW knocking on the front door right now. You said they were going to AFK, but they're doing the exact opposite of that. Reflection jumps in onto the Necro, keeps him stunned up. A couple of trading going on here with some spells, but no real commitment from either team.
Nick is waiting on the side here, waiting for that opportunity to jump in, hopefully find that Pugna once again, because he knows he doesn't have a buyback here. So look at his positioning at the moment.
Yeah, he wants it.
By this play from BB, this takes some big balls to do when your opponent has no ball.
Pugna, but actually the Nullifier doesn't reach him in time. He manages to force off himself away from this. This is Messi from HellRaisers. Meanwhile, RTW and Revolution are doing rock in the backline, but it's ultimate coming down. It's causing a little trouble right now. RTW is to get caught up on the Reaper side, but the Reaper's going to save him, but he's already dead. Nick's going to go down as well, though. RTW and Nick's both taking out a fight, and the Death Bomb getting so low as well, but helped out jumping away. It's actually gone. Kasani is out, so it's going to be 2 heroes dead, but immediate buyback from him, and now they're going to be able to find Solo on the retreat. He is gone. Kasani did have to buy back into this fight, but without the exits, he did a hell of a lot of work, but it doesn't matter. They still hold the high ground and kill off ILTW. I'm actually surprised they still had the damage to bring down Kasani inside of that fight without ILTW, but he was already pretty low from previous situations, and man, that was really messy from both teams there. Ricky trying to get the engagement he wanted, jumping onto the Pugna, but Pugna actually getting the 4-staff off before the Nullifier hit, and it does have a little projectile in Nullifier, and it needs to connect before the 4-staff is used, otherwise it won't catch up until the 4-staff is over. So
right, so that fight, like, although he didn't kill the Pugna, he effectively did the same job where he got the Pugna out of the fight and he couldn't cast any spells, right? What happened there was the Spectre was in the middle of everything. He was doing so much damage, and especially through his dispersion, but there was no heals coming out from this Pugna onto him. So he ended up just taking too much. He died, and Kasani, like, buybacking there, I'm not sure it was necessary because the Spectre was already dead, but he did it anyway. And I think this gives an opening for VP to try and kill him. And next engagement, this Pugna already has a BKB now. So that means it doesn't even matter if the Ricky dumps no one anymore. He can just casually BKB, force himself out, and rejoin the fight if need be.
And also, I mean, this disruptor was huge in this fight, getting off that static storm. The Weaver actually did just about manage to get off the time lapse into the onto the Spectre, but because it was so late and the Spectre had still taken a decent chunk of damage, and with the Reaper Scythe coming down on him as well, it did bring him low enough for HellRaisers to finish the job there.
Resolution as well had like a sliver of HP too in that last fight. He almost died there. So maybe if he died and it was just like Weaver and Pugna left on this map, like I would expect HellRaisers to have pushed out all these lanes and play much more aggressively, especially since Pugna doesn't have buyback.
Yeah, that's gonna be something for them to worry about for sure. These buybacks now for both teams actually is. DP's used hers. No one's going to have his in 3 minutes 39. Everybody else, they pulled out for the time being because they kind of realized probably that there's going to be a little bit of quiet, a little bit of downtime here. And what kind of state are we in the game now? We're now looking forward to this next Roshan, I guess.
Yep. Roshan definitely going to be the big factor. I think HellRaisers are going to have this Rubik and DP playing extremely back in the fights. Not extremely back, but somewhere where they let the Necrophones and stand in the front, give some vision, or maybe even the Ricky because they don't have buybacks. And then the Spectre, like I expect VP to just revive and go run at them. Like if they were willing to take engagements where Pugna doesn't have buyback and no BKB, then I don't see why they wouldn't be still fighting into HellRaisers right now. After Pugna has completed his BKB and the Spectre revives. I think next fight they know that this Pugna can just stand his ground, cast heals onto the Spectre, and the Spectre will probably just not die.
Breathe it in.
Big claims, but I think you're right. I mean, it's not just the Pugna as well. It's the Weaver. He's made himself an absolute menace in these fights with the Jagnum Scepter. Yeah, it really does feel like the next fight is going to be much easier from Virtus Pro, and I don't really see HellRaisers pushing any advantage in the next few minutes. Roshan might respawn in 20 seconds. We'll find out Roshan's respawn timer when that 20 seconds hits. Until then, it's a bit of a guess.
Do you see Weaver and his item? What he has in the backpack? That's a big item for Spectre, right?
Illusions cape, yeah, true enough.
That's going to be huge for Spectre. It's going to be a big boost in her damage and also creating another illusion. And that illusion, there's a chance that they might think it's real, right? I've seen that happen many times because it doesn't take as much damage as normal illusions do. So
yeah, especially with these big tanky heroes like a Spectre as well. So yeah, this could be a bit of a bait coming out. We'll see if they're able to do anything with that. Whether HellRaisers are going to be wise upon it. And what are the neutral items coming out for both teams? Let's see. HellRaisers. Oh, they don't actually have any tier 4s just yet. I mean, they have only just spawned. So, yeah. All right, fair enough. I was thinking like 35, and I'm like, wait a minute. It used to be 40 anyway, so I don't even have that excuse. Damn it.
Right. Do you wish that items like the 60-minute items would be dropped down to like 50? I feel like that should be the case.
I don't know. I mean, they are very like
powerful,
polarizing. They kind of they're really powerful. It kind of forces the game to end, which I know is a point, but I'm not sure if you want that. Like if you have a really clutch game which hits 50 minutes and then you just get one team which runs to the jungle or finds an Apex or a Ballista or something and just kind of ends it. That's like, not that entertaining.
37 minutes is 60 minutes. That's like a very long time for your next set of items to come up. I was thinking it's going to be a very stale, situation till then. So. And we rarely ever get to see tier 5 items. Like it's so fun when you see those things come up.
Oh, Roger with an arcane rune and the Sakuchi. He's living the dream right now. But yeah, what's your favorite combination of tier 5 items? Because mine has to be, I really like Drow with Ballista because the extra range you get on her E. That is hilarious. Multi-shot covers like half the map.
I'm playing about 10 games a day for these past weeks, and I have not got to tier 5 items once.
True, that doesn't happen very often up in the higher tiers of games, that's for sure.
I don't know what my favorite item. No, I got it one time. I got the Meteor Hammer one, right? the one that like lets you. It's like a blink.
Oh yeah,
that one.
Guy. Yeah.
I didn't get to use anything else, so just don't last that long, man.
Yeah. We have ourselves a Spell Prism, by the way, on Kasani. That's a very big item. 12 all attributes, and more importantly, the 20% cooldown reduction is huge on this Death Prophet. Nick's still going to be hanging around with the Orb of Destruction.
Here we go. Lead with the Ricky. This is the recipe for success right here. Just gotta let your Ricky go in there, man. Find someone. They actually have a ward. That's a really clutch ward that they planted here. They did see some of BP's heroes walk up this direction. So this could be a big initiation.
They're chasing hard. Roger leading the charge right now. Ping's coming out. This could be an awesome start to the fight for HellRaisers, but they need to find that right target. And now someone's going to get popped immediately using the ultimate on the Spectre just to get the vision onto the heroes. And they're actually trying to find Nyx here. And he's jumping across to try to get down to the low ground, jumping across to his teammate, but HellRaisers, they're the ones on the run right now. And Phonic getting a little bit left behind. They're looking for Kasani. Kasani going to pop the accident. They're going to try and make something of the fight. Phonic turning around, trying to look for a target right now, but they won't really be finding anybody to start this off. Necrophos getting pretty low here. Might just be dropping. Meanwhile, the backlines. Nyx is causing some trouble. He's causing some disruption here, and is actually, I can't believe no one's died in this fight, but no one's really been caught out. Both teams just poking and prodding, and Virtus.pro, they're playing this fight beautifully, I would say, because this Exorcism is actually kind of close to running out, and they're pinging Kasani now. They know they could have a real chance in their hands to take this. I feel like HellRaisers need to make themselves invisible right now, but that's not going to happen. No one's sliding on in. They're looking for Phonic. Phonic going to purge away that disruption. Meanwhile, Ricky trying to cause some disruption on the backlines here by jumping Zayats. He's having some fun, trying to play carefully, and is doing a very good job of doing that, and the disruption is enough for HellRaisers to not be baited into a pretty horrible fight.
Yeah, both teams using up their big ultimates though, the Spectre Hunt and the Death Prophet Exorcism, but it looks like BP don't care. They just go straight into this Roshan pit.
Yeah,
I feel like HellRaisers not gonna fight them.
Yeah, I think they are the stronger team without their ultimates up. They are the stronger team, and they certainly think so as well. And RTW, he's going to come out and say hi to HellRaisers. They are not letting them get anywhere near this Roshan's pit. They are keeping them at an arm's length. HellRaisers, they really want to come in and stop this from happening. But no, that's not the big target right now. It's going to be Pushka, who's a big target. He does get down his ultimate just before he goes down. 2 heroes caught inside of it, but they're both going to be absolutely fine. There isn't a gem. And, I mean, Necrophos wants to come in for it, but it's too dangerous. He can't get that close. A buyback comes out from Pushka, wants to be back in this engagement now, and the battle for the gem will end up in the center, being able to run forward to grab it. Meanwhile, Phonic getting in a little bit of trouble right here. Now they jump on top of him, and the big jump in from Resolution will find that kill. A buyback comes out from the Necrophos. Small DP trying to find the front lines. He's actually got Erexes them up in 6 seconds. They have to be wary of this Virtus.pro, because this could be the big turnaround they're looking for, but still a decent amount of damage coming out from Kasani, and now Spectre ulties again, trying to find the targets. The Exorcism comes out. Kasani yields up, trying to keep herself alive, but is there anything to keep her in this game? The Reaper decides to try to buy Kasani the time. The Spirit Cypher as well, but she's gone. Kasani out of fight, 110 seconds, coming forward towards Phonic as well. Phonic losing his life. RTW on top of him. You'll not to buy him much time, really. Phonic's going to come crashing back to the ground, and that is another hero dead. And Nyx, he was actually off defending. Again, not in the fights. And there's GG's coming out with the Ricky not even committing to the final fight in this game, it feels like here. He's going to BKB up to get himself a couple more crews. That is going to be the game. Virtus.pro, and that is going to make it. Guess what, Theban? It's another 2-0 for us.
Alright, Rap God. I'll give some insight there. That Ricky in the last fight